I'm going to show you a new stitch now. This one is called Twisted Single Brussels, and it's done by looping the thread before you make your stitch. So I have 2 rows of regular Brussels stitch in the white, and this row that I've begun, you can see it lays just a little different, is called Twisted Single Brussels. And rather than just lay our thread and go through here and come up, that which is a Brussels stitch, I'm going to do an extra piece. I'm going to bring my thread around into a small loop, and then I'm going to make the stitch going over this loop, this part of the thread, the upper part, and under the next one. So I've got a loop that I've got around my needle there, and then I'm going to pull it through. Now it's important to pull this at the 90 degrees, you can see the twist in the stitch, at the 90 degrees to the previous stitch, so that this piece lays perpendicular to the previous stitch as you're pulling the tension on your thread. So again, for the twisted Brussels stitch, I'm going to make a small loop with my working thread. I'm going to take the previous stitch, come over the top of the first part of the loop and under the second, and then pull the needle through. And that's going to add a twist to my thread. You can see the twist there. And you've now a different stitch, a slight variation of the single Brussels. Again, make a loop, through the stitch, over and then under. Many of the stitches, the more advanced stitches, are versions of this, making a twist in the thread using a technique. There are several stitches, and the technique to make that twist in the thread varies. You do get a different look with each of them. And you'll notice this stitch is slightly longer this way than the single Brussels, and so when I was deciding to do that, I had to bring my thread slightly further down the coordinate before I started that stitch. And that takes a little practice learning how to do that, how far to go. Right, now when you anchor off, you're going to look here at this distance, and when you come around, you're going to anchor at approximately the same distance. It's not going to be perfect, but you do want to try to anchor at the same distance from your reference lines here.